I first met Peter in 1989 when I cold called him and asked him if he would talk to me. I had just come back from a second 5-year tour in Asia. I'd read many of his books, and he was gracious, and I asked for an hour. I went out to Claremont. I ended up spending 4 to 5 hours in his home with him as one question led to another, one conversation led to another. And I think the 3 things that have always struck me about my conversations with Peter and frankly about his books are that in the end they all come back to management or leadership. He says time and again the purpose of the business is to create a customer, and the job of the leader is to serve the customer. So the customer tries the product or service and ultimately becomes loyal to the product and service for the lifetime of its use. Peter talks about the importance of bringing the outside in. There really are only a very few people in any institution, public or private, that can really bring the actionable outside in. And of course, they are the leaders of that institution, often beginning with the chief executive. And finally, Peter talks about the fact that leadership or management is ultimately, a social process. It's ultimately a human process, and bringing out the humanity of leaders and the humanity of those they lead with and those they follow and those they're tasked to inspire and focus and energize is, I think, maybe one of the most inspiring parts of everything that Peter has to say on the subject.
When you think about your discovery of being the process of evolving as a leader, as an individual, what would you say was the most challenging or difficult transformation or change that you had to go through, or challenge that you faced that made you a better leader?
I'm not sure there was one event or one transformation because I think ultimately I believe leaders are made, not born. That somehow, sometime in your life, you choose to step up and take on a little more responsibility than you're comfortable with because you believe in a mission or you believe in a cause. And having some positive experience when that happens leads to the next time when you step up and reach out, and there's sort of a succession of these experiences, and you become more comfortable with who you are becoming as a manager and a leader, and you become more self-confident. Not, I'd say just self-confident with your ability to in the end, enable change, okay, and change that makes a difference. And that, in its maybe simplest way, is what leaders do. They enable change that makes a meaningful difference. But I think it's a lifelong process. I'm still growing. I'm only 61. I hope to last a few more decades, and I still have a lot of growing to do as a manager and as a leader.